Welcome, everyone. The push for direct. Will hotels take a stand or accept a hand? And is now the best time for hotels to push their direct booking strategies and loyalty programs with customers? And joining us today, our esteemed colleagues, we have Maud Bailey, a CEO of Southern Europe for Accor. Welcome back, Maud.
Thank you, Lorraine. Very happy to be with you today.
And always great to see you. And Tim Davis, founder and managing director of Pace Dimensions. Welcome, Tim.
Good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon.
Okay, both. So, we've had 15 months to really rethink marketing and distribution strategies. And I'm going to start with you, Maud, because I'm sure there were times you just weren't sure you were going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it had to be quite a scary time. And now that we're coming out of it, when you think about some of the consumer behavior that you've seen, how have you adapted? And would you say some of these changes are temporary or permanent?
Yeah, thank you, Lorraine, for this first question. First of all, even before the crisis, we constantly adapted ourselves because the hospitality industry was constantly facing shocks, should it be digital or any new shock was forcing us to reinvent ourselves, which was a good thing. With the COVID crisis, we massively shifted our ways to work and interact with our clients. And I would say around mostly four main themes. The first one is digitalization. You know that our industry was already very digitized, but clearly we saw a clear acceleration with QR codes, online checking, online checkout, digital keys on your mobile to open your door in the hotel. So a clear acceleration of an already existing trend, which is digitalization. The second new guest behavior, which I could not have guessed in December 2019, is health reassurance. If you had asked me, Lorraine, 2 years ago, that it will be the new, guest expectation, I wouldn't have believed you. But still, today, health reassurance is a major expectation for our guests in B2C as well as in B2B. So we've been designing and we created a sanitary label called All Safe, validated and certified by companies like SGS or Bureau Veritas, to ensure we do implement in all our hotels strong sanitary protocols. And this is a key expectation for our clients for tomorrow, and it may survive the crisis. Two other main new customers' behaviors are around one, flexibility in pricing, flexibility in cancellation conditions. People are not, really safe, neither sure about their stays, and they want to keep the freedom to book, modify, and cancel whenever they want, because we are still in a very uncertain world. And last but not least, it's about new usages. We've been completely rethinking our F&B offers because of the new expectations, because of the crisis. Click and collect, ghost kitchen, even revamping the room service offer. And far more than that, you know that we've also been rethinking our ways of working internally with working from home for our colleagues and also towards our clients with the work hospitality concept. Today, people do not necessarily want to go back to the office, but they don't want to work from home neither. So hotels can be a new solution to welcome you through the work hospitality concept we're in, to welcome these new nomads, these new workers in hotels with Wi-Fi, a wide range of services, Wi-Fi, food and beverage, central location, business centers, so that hotels which are at the heart of the city and also welcome the new workers of post-COVID era. So this is mostly the big trends we are observing and we're adapting ourselves to.
Okay, so Maud, you mentioned digitalization, which is really when you had joined Accor, I guess around 4 years ago or so, that was really your charge. Of course, sanitation. You mentioned the flexibility. You mentioned digital nomads. How would you say some of these trends are impacting your marketing and distribution strategies and your messaging?
On flexibility, this is the end of yield and pricing and revenue management. Today, we are still on a very flexible marketing approach because people need to be reassured until the very last day. So, are we going to keep this flexibility era, Lorraine, or at the end of the crisis, we will be back? Will we be back and able to get back to revenue management? I don't know. And then on some commercial offers, my clients have changed. I have a far more domestic, local, leisure-oriented clientele. And I've been designing, tailor-made offers, commercial offers for this type of clients. I hope I'm going to reconquest business travelers, international travelers, but they are clearly not back yet. So I've been focusing my marketing and commercial policy to this new profile, this new face of travelers in the COVID era.
So Tim, how about over to you in terms of how are hotels going to be engaging differently with their distribution partners? I mean, with so much up in the air in terms of flexibility, in terms of refundability, and in terms of the business travel comeback and the leisure long-term stay trends, how is that impacting distribution?
Well, I don't know that many hotel companies are changing tangibly their distribution strategies or approach because of COVID crisis per se. I do agree with many of the things that Maud was highlighting on the product innovation side, pricing in particular, those areas. But when it comes to distribution, the underlying behaviors of companies and the way in which they compete, that really dictates how hotels do or don't change towards distribution companies. So if a distribution company chooses to act in a more hostile way or drives costs up, then hotels will react. But I don't know it's the COVID crisis that causes those changes. What I would say is this: underlying rising digital maturity is definitely giving the opportunities for all suppliers, all brands, to reach their customers directly, to connect with them in a very different and unique way, to build relationships that they couldn't build before. And I think that will be the focus of hotel companies going forward, because they can, and because they can extend not only a direct distribution relationship, but they can extend a relationship, a direct relationship, a connected relationship that goes all the way into the hotel and how people experience the hotel and how people receive service. So I don't think COVID crisis per se changes much with distribution. I think it's more about how distributors and hoteliers compete that changes behavior.
So we heard a lot that hotels have, because of everything that you're saying in terms of being more customer focused, have made great strides toward direct booking. And is that true in all cases?
Well, I think yes and no. If you look at the overall statistics that the companies publish in their quarterly results, you will absolutely see that particularly the large hotel companies, they've all grown their direct distribution without question. What's interesting is when you analyze the web traffic data, and we did analyze the web traffic data and compared it to the share of hotel rooms, so the share of traffic versus the share of rooms, what we saw is big is best. The bigger the hotel company, the faster they recovered, the more traffic they got, because they had scale, presence, and choice. So that's true. Where the interesting contrast comes is when you look at strong, distinctive brands versus less so, where you look at brands that have good supply penetration versus flags around the world, but no penetration anywhere. When you look at those factors, you also see a marked difference. Those with distinctive brands and good penetration of supply absolutely outperform in traffic versus their share of rooms absolutely outperform in terms of traffic. So I think that the fundamentals of how hotel companies compete penetration of supply, scale, distinctivity of brands, execution excellence. Those things really play out in the recovery that we're seeing today.
Maud, agree?
I fully agree. I would say that COVID has even been reinforcing our direct distribution strategy. And you know what a loyalty member means has been really confirmed, because clearly our loyalty members has been the most resilient ones. You know, I've been revamping Accor Worldwide Loyalty Program at the end of 2019. We transformed Le Club Accor Hotel into all Accor Live Limitless as a huge augmented hospitality platform, delivering many services, increasing frequency of usage for our loyalty members. And it was no surprise to observe a strong double-digit growth of direct bookings and very strong bookings from loyalty members. So it does work. And as you said, as you mentioned, team loyalty members were there to support us in our hotels, even in the hardest times of the crisis.
Okay, so are OTAs no longer the enemy? That's an old story.
No, I don't fear OTAs. We don't fear OTAs for different reasons. First of all, they are partners. They are part of the games we are playing with them. They are part of our distribution ecosystem. And our booking strategy has clearly proved a strong resilience and a strong growth during the crisis, as you just mentioned it. The bigger, the stronger. Today, Accor is 5,100 hotels in 110 countries, and it helps because it gives you a bigger negotiation power with the OTAs. And then I would say we are not battling in the same league. You were mentioning this team. You know, OTAs are more like a cold, super performant commodity with strong, fluid digital interfaces. We own the relationship. You were saying team connected relationship. We own the real warm relationship with the client. Team Lorraine, I'm going to welcome you in my hotel. According to your personalized preferences, I will welcome you with your favorite green tea, or team with your favorite red wine. I will offer you your best accommodation, your favorite suite, and I will book for you an Ashtanga yoga class because I know you're a big yoga fan. No OTA can do it. And last but not least, I often say that the disruptors of today may be the disrupted of tomorrow. I'm rather, vigilant about Amazon, Ctrip, or Google getting into the travel and hospitality industry than traditional OTAs.
Why is that?
Because their distribution power is so big that they may completely change the game and also the distribution rules. It's just an intuition, and I guess there is no enemy, just people playing in the market. But for me, I would be far more cautious on these big players.
So you're more concerned on the platforms versus some of the vertical OTAs,
Yes.
wider
Yes.
distribution platforms, because of their volume.
Yes. The scale effect, which might change the rules in the long term.
Change the rules. That's interesting. So Tim, you've had what, I guess 11 years or so at Hilton and many years in the hospitality industry. OTA is no longer the enemy. And do you agree with Maud? Let's be more concerned with Ctrip, Amazon, and Google.
They never were the enemy, if you ask me. I think the main issue is how you play with friends, how you play with partners. When one partner is unreasonable to the other, then the other reacts. It doesn't mean to say they break up, but they react. And what you've seen play out over the last 10, 15 years is on one side, rapidly escalating distribution costs. On the other side, in the last 7 years, the top 10 hotel groups have doubled their share of branded supply. So all of a sudden, now we start to see the dynamics of competition evolve in the industry as the industry itself structures, and we've seen costs of distributions come down. I do agree with Maud. I don't even think the platforms need to, in quotes, enter the hotel business. The big platforms themselves, what they have the potential to do is threaten and commoditize individual hotel brands, simply because if you navigate towards them in order to find and select choice, and you're on a shelf that you can't control, then it's much more difficult to be distinctive. And I think in that regard, it's not so much the cost of distribution, although that is a factor. I think it's much more about how much voice, how much distinctivity brands can get to their customers. But again, I think that rising digital maturity creates an opportunity for them to do exactly that. So I think it's all to play for. Those who stand still will get left behind. Those that move with the times, understand the trends, to Maud's point, looks at the trends with razor sharp focus, then and act, then they will take advantage.
Okay, so we have 1 minute. Quickly, what are those trends that we need to watch? So we're writing our sequel. Maud?
We will be proud because our industry is fantastic, and we will be back. We will be hybrid because the world has become hybrid. There is no brick and mortar on one hand and pure digital on the other. You can see many, many hybrid formats, especially on mice. And the last word I would say is sustainable. We need to design and rethink the sustainable, responsible, committed hospitality of tomorrow, because our colleagues and our clients will ask for it. So we have to be pioneers for this sustainable hospitality of tomorrow.
So hybrid, sustainability, Tim? What is your sequel? What do you think the sequel is for the hospitality industry?
Sure. Well, I have to double underline sustainability. I think that is underestimated by too many, but is absolutely as big as e-commerce was in 2000. So definitely watch that space. Second, I would say that the big brands need to think about their business model of gross rooms revenue. When you're in a situation where occupancies are suppressed or depressed, then owners care about revenue per stay and profit per square foot. Aligning the business models, aligning the interests of brands and hotel owners will become very important in the future if optimal occupancies aren't sustained. And the last thing I will say, customer experience. The one area where all hotel brands have the opportunity to differentiate is in the customer experience at all points. They understand and know customers better than anybody else. They see and understand their sentiment and satisfaction. That's a unique advantage they should leverage.
So Maud is nodding. It's all about the customer.
It's all about personalization, personalized attention. This little attention which will make you stay unforgettable and creates a direct link between you and your client.
Looking forward to that, people. Thank you. Thank you, Maud. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you, Tim. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine too. Thanks.
You want to control the chaos? We put unmatched verticalized payment knowledge at your fingertips. Smarter customer experiences. You need to pivot to shifting demands. We promise you an ever-evolving range of payment methods. Smarter protection solutions. You have to fend off growing threats. We strengthen your defenses with on-demand risk management tools and smarter operations. You crave simplified processes. We deliver automated payment solutions that create efficiencies everywhere. Are you ready to show tomorrow's issues who's boss today? Great. Let's reinvent smarter.